If you use a wheelchair, a walker, a scooter, or have any kind of mobility limitation, there's a very good chance you've been flying without knowing what you're actually entitled to. And I'm not talking about small courtesies, I'm talking about real, legally protected perks that could save you hundreds of dollars, eliminate your biggest travel anxieties, and completely transform the way you experience airports and flights. The problem is, airlines bury these rights deep in their fine print. They train their staff to provide them, but only when a passenger specifically asks. Why would they do that? Because every one of these perks costs the airline money, and if you don't know it exists, they don't have to offer it. Think about that for a second. There are federal laws and international regulations that guarantee you specific accommodations, and the airlines are banking on the fact that you'll never read the fine print closely enough to find them. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 8 hidden wheelchair and mobility perks that airlines are legally required to provide, but almost never volunteer. Some of them will save you real money. Others will make connections, layovers, and boarding feel like a completely different experience. But perk number 5 is the one that changes everything. It solves the single biggest fear wheelchair users have about flying, something most people assume is simply impossible on an aircraft, and the airline is required by law to provide it for free. We've heard from hundreds of viewers who had no idea this even existed, and once they found out, they said it changed the way they think about air travel permanently. We're going to get to all 8. But first, tap that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss another video breaking down the travel rights that nobody's telling you about. These aren't tips. These aren't hacks. These are your legal rights, and it's time you knew every single one of them. Let's get into it. Perk number 1, free wheelchair assistance that doesn't stop at the gate. Most people think airport wheelchair service means someone meets you at check-in, wheels you to your gate, and waves goodbye. So you're left on your own to get down the jet bridge, squeeze through the aisle, find your seat, and then do it all over again when you land. You struggle through baggage claim, through customs, and somehow get yourself to ground transportation with no help at all. But here's what the airline didn't tell you. Under the Air Carrier Access Act in the United States and equivalent regulations in Europe, airlines are required to provide continuous assistance from the moment you arrive at the airport to the moment you leave your destination airport. That means curb to curb, check-in, security, the gate, down the jet bridge, into your seat, and then the entire chain in reverse on arrival, including connections, customs, baggage claim, and all the way out to your ride. It's not a partial service, it's door to door. At the time of booking, or at least 48 hours before your flight, say this: I need wheelchair assistance from check-in all the way to my seat and the same on arrival through to ground transportation. Can you confirm that's noted in my reservation? That one sentence closes every gap. No more being abandoned at the gate wondering what happens next. Perk number 2, your personal wheelchair flies free. Always. Checked bag fees are running anywhere from $35 to $75 per bag on most airlines right now. If you use a wheelchair or scooter, you might assume it counts as a checked bag and you'll get hit with that fee. Or worse, you leave your own chair at home and rely completely on airport equipment that doesn't fit your body. Here's the truth. Federal law and international regulations require airlines to transport your personal wheelchair, power chair, scooter, walker, or cane at absolutely no charge, and it does not count against your baggage allowance. At check-in, say this: I'm checking my personal wheelchair as a mobility device, not as regular baggage. Can you tag it as an assistive device so there's no charge? That's an instant savings of $35 to $150 round trip, and you land with the chair that actually fits you. Perk number 3, a better seat without paying a dime for it. Airlines now charge anywhere from $15 to $80 just to pick your seat. If you have a mobility limitation, getting stuck in a middle seat at the back of the plane isn't just uncomfortable, it can be painful. You're far from the lavatory, squeezed between 2 strangers, and the armrest won't move, so transferring in and out becomes a real ordeal. But here's what most travelers don't know. Airlines are required to give you an accessible seat at no extra charge if you need one due to a disability. That means bulkhead rows with extra space, aisle seats closer to the lavatory, and seats with movable armrests that make transferring so much easier. These are the same seats the airline sells as premium upgrades to everyone else, but for you, they're free. And it gets better. If you're traveling with a companion who helps you during the flight, whether that's with boarding, medication, or getting to the restroom, the airline must seat that person right next to you, also at no charge. At check-in, say this: I need an accessible seat with a movable armrest, and my companion needs to be seated next to me. Can you arrange that at no extra cost? That simple request can save both of you $30 to $160 combined, and your flight goes from stressful to manageable. Perk number 4, free priority boarding. And this one isn't a courtesy. It's the law. A lot of travelers with disabilities board last because they think pre-boarding is only for first-class passengers or families with small kids. Or, honestly, they feel awkward asking for it. Here's the truth. Airlines are legally required to offer pre-boarding to any passenger who needs extra time to get seated, store equipment, or get settled. It doesn't matter if you bought the cheapest ticket on the plane. This right applies to every ticket class. Walk up to the gate agent and say, I have a mobility disability and need to pre-board, so I have time to get settled. That's it. No explaining, no apologizing. You get time to settle in without 150 passengers pressing up behind you. But those perks are just about comfort. The next one is the one airlines really don't want you asking about. Perk number 5, the free onboard aisle chair. And this is the one we teased at the beginning for a reason. If you use a wheelchair, you already know the single biggest fear about flying. It's not turbulence, it's not delays, it's the lavatory. Most wheelchair users assume that once you're in your seat, that's it. You cannot get to the restroom. So people stop drinking water hours before a flight. They skip meals. They avoid long routes entirely. Some travelers have told us they plan their whole lives around short flights just because of this one problem. But here's what almost nobody knows. On any aircraft with more than 60 seats, the airline is required by law to carry an onboard aisle chair. It's a narrow wheelchair designed to fit down the aircraft aisle, and flight attendants are required to help you transfer into it and wheel you to the lavatory. You don't have to ask if it's possible. It's federal law. After you board, tell a flight attendant this: I'll need the onboard aisle chair during the flight to get to the lavatory. Can you let me know the best time to request it? That's it. That one sentence gives you something most wheelchair users have been told they can never have on a plane. Independence. The freedom to hydrate, to eat, to book a 10-hour flight without fear. This isn't a perk the airline is being generous about. This is a right you've always had. Perk number 6, free airport assistance that goes way beyond wheelchairs. Big airports are massive. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson covers over 7 million square feet. Dallas-Fort Worth has 5 terminals. A tight 45-minute connection in a place like that can feel flat out impossible if you have limited mobility. But airlines are required to help you make it. Airport assistance programs include electric cart rides between terminals, personal escorts through security and customs, help rebooking and rechecking bags during layovers, and dedicated staff to get you from one gate to the next on time. All of it at no cost. When you book your flight, say this: I have a mobility limitation and a tight connection. Can you arrange transfer assistance between gates? That single request turns a panicked sprint into a smooth ride. Perk number 7, free repair or full replacement if the airline damages your wheelchair. This is the one that every wheelchair user needs to hear, because this is the nightmare. You check your chair at the gate, you watch it disappear down the jet bridge, you land, you wait at baggage claim, and when it finally comes out, a wheel is bent, the joystick is cracked, or the frame is warped beyond use. Your chair, the one that was custom fitted to your body, the one that cost anywhere from $5,000 to $40,000. And most people in that moment assume they're out of luck. They think they'll have to file an insurance claim that drags on for months, or just absorb the loss entirely. But here's what the airline is hoping you don't know. Under the Air Carrier Access Act, The airline is fully liable for any damage to your mobility equipment. They must repair it or replace it. And if the repair can't be done right away, they are required to provide you with a suitable loaner chair at no cost until yours is fixed. That's not a courtesy. That's the law. If this ever happens to you, say this immediately at baggage claim. My wheelchair was damaged during transport. I need to file a formal incident report right now, and I need a loaner chair provided until mine is repaired or replaced under the Air Carrier Access Act. Stay calm, but firm. Get the report in writing before you leave the airport. One of our viewers, a woman named Patricia, had her power chair severely damaged on a flight from Chicago to Denver. The airline initially offered her $300 and an apology. She filed a complaint with the Department of Transportation, referenced the Air Carrier Access Act, and within 6 weeks had a full replacement chair worth over $18,000. She knew her rights, and she held the airline to them. Perk number 8. The right to file a formal DOT complaint and why airlines take it seriously. When any of these rights we've talked about get denied, most travelers give up. They assume complaining goes into a black hole. It doesn't. The Department of Transportation tracks every single disability-related complaint by airline and publishes the rankings publicly. Airlines face fines, investigations, and reputational damage. Filing takes about 10 minutes online. Say this to any agent who refuses your rights. I'd like to file a formal complaint under the Air Carrier Access Act. Can I have your name and employee ID for my records? Watch how fast the tone changes. Every complaint you file doesn't just protect you, it makes flying better for the next person who rolls up to that counter. Let's take a step back and look at what we just covered, because when you see all 8 of these perks together, it hits different. Perk 1, free door-to-door wheelchair assistance from curb to curb, not just to the gate. Perk 2, your personal wheelchair, scooter, or walker flies free and never counts against your baggage. Perk 3, accessible seating and companion seating at no extra charge, even in rows the airline sells as premium. Perk 4, legal priority boarding on every flight regardless of your ticket class. Perk 5, the free onboard aisle chair that lets you use the lavatory on any aircraft with more than 60 seats. Perk 6, electric carts, personal escorts, and connection assistance through even the biggest airports in the world. Perk 7, full repair or replacement of your wheelchair if the airline damages it, plus a loaner while yours is fixed. And Perk 8, the right to file a DOT complaint that airlines actually fear, one that takes 10 minutes and puts your experience on the public record. That's 8 legally protected rights. Not tips, not hacks, not favors. These are laws that exist right now, today, in black and white. And the only reason most people don't benefit from them is that nobody told them to ask. That changes today. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these perks did you not know about? Have you ever been denied one of these rights at the airport? Have you used one of them and had it change the way you travel? Drop your story in the comments. Every experience you share helps someone else learn what's possible. If this video helped you, hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it helps us reach more travelers who need this information. And share this video with someone who uses a wheelchair, someone who has a parent with mobility limitations, someone who works as a caregiver. These rights only work when people know they exist, and you can be the person who tells them. We've got more videos coming on hotel accessibility rights, cruise ship accommodations, and train travel protections you've never heard of. Subscribe so you don't miss a single one. These perks aren't hidden because they don't exist. They're hidden because nobody told you to ask. Now you know.